following programme contains subject matter dealing with the paranormal which some may find to be controversial. The views expressed by the host and/or the guests do not necessarily reflect those of the network or its sponsors. Audience discretion is advised. Here's your host, Coyote Knight.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Transcendental Night Offerings. Tonight, I have Potter Paranormal with Ken Potter. We have Shane and Eileen along with him. They run Texas Scareground. They do tours at the Old Nazareth Hospital in Mineral Wells, Texas. And if you're not familiar with Mineral Wells, we're going to get you because these guys know a lot about that place. It's very active. And before we get anything else going, let's hear a little bit about yourselves. Ken, you want to start off and tell us a little about you?
Yeah, sure, Kyle. Thank you. Hey, thanks for having us on. We're humbled and we're excited to be here. I'm a nurse by day. I do dialysis, so I tend to lose patients. So death is not something that I'm unusual or I'm not familiar with. So that's a piece of why this interests me. And it really wasn't until we moved to Texas that I became interested in the urban type or home investigative piece of paranormal. Mm-hmm. We were exposed to it with Shane and Shauna, and I said, hey, you know what? There's something to this. So I just started researching, and it hit my heart, and here we are. And we love doing it. I know I do. New things every time. Just like before we started, we were talking a little bit about some experiences, and right. It's I think it's that I look the most forward to, and having people that aren't involved with paranormal that come to our events, teaching and helping them to gain a better understanding of it. That's a huge piece of it for me.
Sweet. Well, Eileen, how about yourself?
Sure. I'm Eileen Potter. Ken is my husband. And, like he said, we got into this when we moved to Texas from Connecticut and met Shane and Shauna, and then came to the Nazareth. And I work with children. I'm a preschool teacher. And so especially when I'm in the Nazareth, I tend to have all of the children come visit me when I'm here, right?
They stick to her like glue.
They stick to me like glue. So that's what's exciting about this for me is all the children I meet.
Wow. When we went to the Yorktown Hospital, I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but when we left, I was having a lot of stomach pains, and I went to doctor after doctor after doctor. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. All they wanted to do is, give me pain pills and send me down the road. And finally a medium told me that there was a child that was there.
Interesting.
And it attached to me because it looked at me like I was a father figure.
Interesting.
And they didn't mean to, but they were making me sick. But that something about kids, mm-hmm. They want to follow you, and it's sad that children had to die in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enough about me. How about you, Shane?
How you doing? I'm Shane Anderson. I'm Shauna Anderson's husband. She is the one who runs the show around here, especially with Texas Scaregrounds, the haunted attraction in October. We gained possession of this building a little over a year ago now, and we've been at hard work cleaning it out, making it presentable to the public.
Well, so what all did y'all have to do?
A lot of cleanup.
a lot of cleanup.
Yeah. It was probably vacant about 15 years, and so some vandals, a couple of fires. So we used probably about 5 dumpsters, cleaning everything out. So
Oh.
there's a lot of hard work from all of our volunteers.
Oh my goodness. So everything's volunteer. This is coming out of y'all's pocket, I assume.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's some love there, brother.
It is. And, we couldn't have done it without our volunteers. They've helped us out a lot. It's just love and passion that we all share. So.
Now y'all started Potter Paranormal. Was that to coincide with what y'all do at the hospital?
Well, I think it just kind of came up out of nowhere, kind of fit. And, thankfully, Shauna had enough faith in us, and trust, to allow us to continue to investigate in this building. I mean, this building has a story to tell that is, it's pretty incredible. There has not been one time that I have come into this building that I haven't experienced something. I mean, even tonight, I've already heard some of the banging that's going on a little bit upstairs. It grows on you. It makes you want to come back and find out more.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. So I was going to say it actually worked out really well, and it gives us an opportunity to teach a little bit, to learn a little bit more ourselves. Every time we come out, and I mean, we get paranormal groups that come in, and it's a great collaboration.
Now, would you say that the addiction is, I call it addiction, do you think it's because of the hospital itself, or it's just the pure curiosity of it?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely both.
Yeah, I think what drags me into it is that I'm not the historian. Matter of fact, when I investigate, I like to go in blind and then find out who's in the room with me, as opposed to going in looking for Billy or Joe or Susie or something. The history of places, and you're going to go in and look for this ghost that somebody says is there. I would rather have that come to me. And with there being no history in this building, to me, it's a blank canvas. Okay, so it's who are we meeting? So we're documenting how many times are we getting Samantha's name, or where is Brandon? Is he on the 3rd floor and on the 5th floor? And do they show up every time? And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we're beginning to build a story that hopefully we can tell somebody someday,
Yeah,
So I think that's really the draw.
has there ever been a time where it's gotten kind of dangerous, that something's may have attacked you, scratched you, anything like that?
I mean, me personally, I never have. I've not felt well a couple of times, which I usually don't. I usually, it doesn't bother me. I do know
I've
that.
gotten dizzy here before.
Well, you always get rubbed. For whatever reason,
My hair.
they play with her. They like to play
Yeah,
with
but that's
Eileen's
not
hair
dangerous.
and her neck. I mean, I don't know. I think it is sometimes. I mean, you get something, when you're a part of an investigative team that's at a place and you watch somebody choking for 15 minutes and it takes them an hour to recuperate, when people say that they're being touched, I always am
But
aware
that
of
didn't
that.
happen here.
No, that hasn't happened here. And we have had people say that they were scratched and had a little scratch on their arm and stuff.
Shauna
But
had an incident on the ladder.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
With her, she was painting, doing like a rust effect in one of the rooms for the haunted house. And she was up there, she had a full, 5-gallon deal of paint. And the ladder started to shake, so she grabbed the pipes above, and paint went all over the place. And she kind of got a little mad, thinking that, one of the volunteers was messing with her. And she looked back and there was nobody there. So that's about the experience she had. It took me a good 3 months to come in this building alone without being creeped out. I still get creeped out, but it took a little,
Yeah.
It's a creepy place.
yeah,
all by
never
yourself, feeling everything creaking.
never go in any place like that alone. I mean, it's not just, so you won't be so scared, but you never know when something bad could happen to you and you need somebody there to help you,
There is a spirit entity named Vern, Mr.
Yeah.
Trippy, in this building. We call him Mr. Trippy. And he does have a tendency to, I don't know, push.
He gets physical.
Yeah, so
Trips and pushes.
we tell anybody that's in this building to hold on to the railing when they go down the stairs, just for safety.
Yeah. And he seems like a jovial spirit,
Yeah, but still.
I mean, if you think about it, if you get pushed down the stairs, it's not so jovial.
Right.
It's not,
So we don't want that to happen.
it's not so funny. You're kind of losing the humor.
I can tell you,
Step that you take.
The last step, yeah.
yeah, I can tell you personally, it's not fun falling down the stairs. Does anything ever seem to agitate whatever's there?
Oh, yeah. I think the haunted house does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were here last summer. There was no electricity in the building whatsoever at all. And I mean, I began noticing from a paranormal aspect, the instant that juice came into this building and the noise started and the music started and more people started, yeah, it changed.
Wow.
And it, I mean, I think there were some that we had seen a few times and we were beginning to have a conversation with that disappeared, and there was others that came out, and there was some little physical stuff here or there, and yeah, and then Christmas time it got a little bit more somber. It changed again. So there's kind of a mood in here. I mean, we're coming into the second year, so now it'll be interesting to see, because we'll probably investigate it differently now, knowing that we've got different characters, and see if we can't draw more of that out and see exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah, so you'd say it's more of intelligent than it would be a residual haunting.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten some images on the heat camera on the FLIR camera that are, yeah, they're pretty not of this world. So, I mean, and you know, we don't know where they're coming from. So, I mean, it's just a matter of trying to catch up with them if you want to catch up with them. I mean,
Right.
we're really not demonic. That's really not a direction that we go in. I mean, I think we're more historian, and where we go, we try to find the history of either the home that we're in or the building that we're in, the business that we're in, to go at it from that angle. And yeah, we find ugly stuff. I mean, if you're investigating and there's ugly stuff there, you're most likely going to find it.
Yeah. So tell me about all the toys you'll have.
Oh, we got a bunch of toys. I mean, if you understand anything about the paranormal, it's all about electromagnetic waves and frequency. So, I mean, we've got a plethora of that. We've got EMF meters, we got K2s and Nell meters, and I mean, we use an EDI, which does a myriad of things: barometric pressure, it gets vibration. It's a REM pod in itself, it records. I mean, we're using REM pods. Last weekend, we went out into the separate building, the crematorium building, and we had K2 out there. We had a music box out there. We had a REM pod. We had the SLS camera. We had dowsing rods. We had the laser grid. I mean, so we were looking for something. I mean, and we took what we felt would give us a good idea if there was something there. I mean, sometimes it's just plain sit down with some dowsing rods and see what's around and have a conversation based on how we feel.
Use regular old tape recorders. I like to use my compass. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive.
Right.
Our little cat balls,
I mean,
motion sensors.
I don't know how well everybody can see behind me. I mean, we're running multitude of cameras. We've got some 4K, 8M MP cameras. We got 5 MP cameras. So, I mean, investigating, you want to have eyes and ears, and then the tools to go in and investigate and drill down. And we do events with the public. So we have Boo Bears, and which are good in their own thing. I mean, they work if there's something there. I mean, we're using the 360 periscope. So, I mean, full spectrum IR. I mean, just flashlights and cameras. I drill down. I mean, typical stuff. And then we use the FLIR camera to get some heat imaging. That a lot of times to back up some of the EMF stuff.
Right.
See if we've got electricity floating somewhere and we're just getting a bad reading. So, I mean, we like to use different stuff, including ourselves, as a piece of the investigative arm that we extend and reach out with. We try to get everything. We try to cover every angle.
You know, I don't know if you have one or not, but a little suggestion is to get a barometer meter.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yes, I was talking with Mustafa from Ghost Hunters the other day, and he was telling me those things are remarkable when you do investigations. So yeah, invest in one. He said that I think they're like $10 or something on Amazon.
So what's that reading? Barometric pressure?
Yes, he says when it will change when you ask, sometimes when you ask questions and things like that, it'll make a drastic change. And he says that's one of the best tools you can have, you know, because we all can't afford those $1,000 photon cameras and things.
I mean, there's one in the EDI, but there's so much stuff in that I mean, there's been times where so many things have been going off in that tool. It's like, you know, which one do I look at? Do I look at vibration? Am I looking at the REM pod part of it? I've got to, at some point in time, I've got to listen to what it's listening to. I mean, that you can lose it. So having a separate one would probably be a great idea.
Oh yeah. So tell us a little bit more about Mineral Wells itself, because I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that goes on there.
Yeah, I'm not the historian, but
I am not either.
I mean,
that is Shauna, my wife.
That is Shauna, but you've got the famous or infamous, however you want to look at it, Baker Hotel, which they're in the process of rebuilding, in the stories on the 7th floor with the woman in the dress and all the rumors and gossip around the Bakers themselves.
Talk about crazy water.
I mean, there is a rumor that one of the Bakers, they're not sure which one, actually passed away in this hospital. But we can't drill anywhere. Even the county does. They have nothing. It's so. And finding somebody now that's 90 years old to tell us a story is, you know, we're kind of getting out of that range, which is really sad, I think, because we're losing those historians.
Yes.
I mean, you've got the crazy water. Now, the whole story of Mineral Wells is the gentleman that came in from Denton and
Mr. Lynch.
yeah, Mr. Lynch, and settled here and drilled the well because they had to go to the river, which was miles away. And when the water came out, it was stinky, nasty, and I mean, it was inedible to them. So they used it for crops and the livestock. And then eventually his wife is, I guess the way the story goes, started drinking some and she had some health issues and it made her feel better. So at that point in time, he went out and started drilling. Okay, you've got the Crazy Water Hotel, which I believe is on the 3rd well that he drilled. And there was a woman that came into town because now everybody started saying that the water had healing properties. And I mean, in the early 1900s, I mean, wagons and stagecoaches, I mean, people were looking for a magic pill, I guess, not knowing that 80 years later there would be one to a certain degree. And this one woman sat there and she drank the water. She was highly mentally ill and instantly calmed down and looked like she was cured. And she would sit by the well and she would ask passersby to draw her a cup of water. Okay, come to find out that well, the water coming out of that well is loaded with lithium. Okay, so if you got a little mental issue going on, you know, I mean, yeah, it's going to make it look like So people, sick people. I mean, the hospital itself, when the nuns took it over in 31, I mean, there was tuberculosis. They had the sanatorium ward downstairs. They had these people that came here, had no way to leave. And I truly believe that that's a piece of what goes on here, is that all these people, there was this huge influx of sick, really sick, ill people.
And poor.
And poor, and they had nowhere to go, and they perished here. And I mean, they came looking for being healed and things like that. And I mean, I don't know, if I was a spirit, I somehow think that I might be a little bit upset if I came in to get healed and ended up dying from it. So I think a lot of souls are trapped here in this area. I've had some people say the geology of the land with the limestone conducts the EMF energy. I mean, we found that down in Glen Rose, another really active place, about 30 miles or 40 miles, I think, south of here. Some of the overflow from here went there because they started opening up the sanitariums and hospitals there. So, I mean, and then the whole bottom fell out and it was just poverty. And I mean, it's kind of a horrific story. It's a really sad story about a town that had a huge boom all around water. I mean, to me, it's a pretty incredible story.
Wow. Is it still kind of loaded with lithium?
Yeah, oh, they sell it. You can buy the water.
4 stages.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the number 4 crazy water has the lithium in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's got something in it. I'm not sure what it is. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's.
that clears you out. So
yeah, I mean,
You can drink 1 and 2.
yeah,
yeah.
Fine.
yeah, I mean, you can blow into town agitated, leave with a smile. I mean,
Send me a jar of that.
We will.
yeah, so like I said, it's super interesting. I don't know. Wherever I go in this city, man, I feel stuff. It's kind of weird, and I'm not a medium by any stretch of the imagination. I'll be investigating with somebody, and I'll be looking at my electronics, and they're going, "Do you hear that growling? Do you hear that scraping?" And no, I don't. So, I mean, for me to pick up on stuff like that, it's got to be a pretty strong signal for me.
Yeah. Man, I was going to ask you, one of the hotels, is that the one where they actually built the hotel kind of over the top of the water flow?
That's well, they both are.
Oh, they both are. Okay.
When you walk around the base of the Baker Hotel, there's grates there. And when you walk over them, they're like 30, 35 degrees colder than the air, or more, depending on how hot out it is. And it's the water running underneath the hotel itself.
Oh, wow. That's okay. That's on my bucket list now. I got to go.
You already know you're coming. I mean, I'll drive down there and get you. Well, you know you're coming.
Hey, it's only like 157 miles away from here, so it's not bad.
At 80, that's about 2 hours. I mean, that's quick.
Hey, I drive back and forth from Houston sometimes. That's a 3.5 hour drive. I can do mineral wells, no problem.
And you know, and we like to travel and get out too. So I mean, there's a ton of places. I mean, North Texas is a hot spot. There's a lot of places. I mean, Fort Worth has its stuff going on, and I mean, there's a little in Dallas, but I mean, for one little small community of 16,000 people in not a very large amount of area, I mean, it's like concentrated like a beam. It's pretty neat. You know, from an investigative standpoint, it's pretty neat.
So have y'all made it out to San Antonio?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah. You know, the Alamo is like right in the middle of all the town. Everything. It was, I mean, the Alamo itself is wonderful. It's just kind of disappointing when you get there and like you got these buildings surrounding it. It's like, oh man, it takes away from the majestic part of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
you know, unfortunately, they don't let you take any cameras or nothing in that place. But I would love to investigate it.
Yeah.
But mineral wells, man, I am definitely going to get out there. So,
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit more about Texas Scareground.
My wife's been doing it, Shauna. I think this is her 26th year. You know, Texas Scareground's been her baby for probably about 20 years now. We've been anywhere between North Richland Hills, Arlington area, I do believe Alvarado, and then we moved it out here. So we came out here to do a small show to see how, you know, the people would come to the show a couple of years ago, and it turned out pretty good. And she fell in love with the town, so we packed up, sold our house in Arlington, and came move out here. So
Oh, nice.
building. But I've been in it for about 6 years now. So yeah, but Texas Scareground, it's all volunteers. Open every October. I mean, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun scaring people and stuff.
As a guy that had never been, I would never go to a haunted house. It
Yeah.
just would, it would not on my bucket list. After meeting the inspiration behind it, I mean, and then gaining an understanding and then watching downstairs go from empty to the show that they put on was absolutely phenomenal, man. It was
Thumbs
a
up.
trip.
Yeah.
So now here's the paranormal guy going through a haunted floor, okay, with people pushing and shoving and yelling at you, and not knowing, is it somebody or something? And it really adds to the ambiance of the whole haunted house, because we've had people say that there was nothing there and I got pushed, or I've gotten shoved, and they were in an area of the haunt that was just walls. There was no openings. There was nobody pushing them. So, I mean, to me, the appeal is I know these folks are going into a place. I know where, because we've been down there. So I usually like to ask questions, man. How'd it go? Where was it fun? This, that, and the other thing. So I think it just adds with her vision, and then you add the paranormal activity and underneath it, it's a super show.
Oh, wow. You know, I hope this doesn't sound rude, but that's got a bank, you know, having that, not only a scary house, haunted house, but it's actually haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually is.
It took me a while before I come into this place by myself, you know, because, you know, sometimes Sean would be working and I'd be up here with some of the volunteers, but I'd have to be up here before they got there to kind of open everything up, open up the floors, and, you know, open up the doors, and it still creeps me out.
Oh, man.
I
So
love
can you kind of describe what y'all put in there?
Well, all downstairs is a big maze. I mean, because being a bottom floor, there's one way in, one way out. And so with fire codes and everything else, we had to make these hallways that are 15 feet wide into two-way, you know, lanes, and then trying to get in and out of it was Shauna's vision, and I tried my best to make it come true.
Yeah.
It was definitely different, because what we used to do is like an open, you know, 6,000-7,000 foot square foot building, and open one, and then we just make a maze. But now we had a challenge of a building that's already there and try to make a haunted house out of it and have traffic flow go in and out, you know. So it was definitely a challenge, but it's a big maze. People get lost. They end up going back through it maybe 2 times, you know. So
Yeah, they get
get lost.
three times the pleasure, right?
Right.
They definitely get twisted around. We are a touch haunt, you know, so you'll definitely get your hairs touched, ankles, you know.
Oh, so you got, do you have like actors come out dressed up as, you know, maybe? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have interaction with the crowd and stuff. I'm usually out there on my stilts. I'm chaos, and I've got the whole get up. It's pretty crazy. We also do the Merry Wells and the Spooky Wells. We were a sponsor last year, and they do an event for the kids. In Merry Wells, they do a parade out here with everybody, And so we walk along with everybody. They do homecoming parades that we also sponsor with. So we definitely are community based and help out. Last year it was Backpack Buddies that we donated a lot of cans that the customers brought for discounts.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Yeah, we definitely help out, put it back to the community, help out our volunteers anytime, they need something. So it's a home away from home for everybody out here.
When I actually sat down and talked to Ken over the phone and found that he was so much like-minded with us as far as like, the community and, like even the paranormal community, people being together and helping each other out and, not none of the bickering and other stuff that you hear goes on.
Right.
And, drama-free kind of stuff. And that convinced me that this was the group that I wanted on my show. That I love the fact that y'all think the same way, and to hear that you do so much for the community as well, that just solidifies that relationship right there,
Thank
So
you.
when do y'all open up?
We are open up the first weekend of October. As far as the
week-
haunted attraction goes.
September.
Maybe the last weekend of September for, to get all the actors ready to go and stuff. Maybe a soft opening, but mainly it'll be every Friday and Saturday night in October.
With the last Saturday of October is Halloween,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, is that this year?
Yes.
yes, it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
So that
Perfect.
Saturday is Halloween, so that should be a fun attraction. And then we will usually, and we don't know how much based on, we know what kind of numbers we had last year. And we did it pretty much on Saturday nights. We'll take a group downstairs for an hour and a half, and we'll just do a mini investigation. Now we have the whole building open. Last year we didn't, we only had downstairs. So now we've got the whole building open. So we don't know yet what we're planning to do. We've been doing pretty much one day a month. Hopefully we'll expand that and do two nights a month, where we have the however many people. We can get a lot of people in this place. You don't want too many because you
Social
don't.
distancing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want too many in any circumstance now, especially with the COVID. But because you don't want to be on top of each other.
Right.
But one thing that we reopened, we had done our last tour our last investigation was in February, and then we didn't do another one until June. And everybody, it was great. Everybody said, man, we felt safe. We were comfortable in there. We had plenty of room to go into a corner, do what we wanted to do or needed to do, So, and then we had folks that knew nothing about it and left knowing a little bit about it. So it's a really cool 5-hour excursion through the paranormal. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're still going to be under the COVID rules and everything when Halloween comes around. But do you think that's going to affect your business?
It's still up in the air. It's always a day-by-day deal. We prepare, for the worst, and hopefully, nothing will happen. We'll just take all the precautions that the city, allows us to do, and we'll just go on from there.
So do they make you wear masks everywhere in public? No.
Here in town, some of the stores require it. Walmart, of course, requires it, but we really don't have any. The Walmart's the biggest thing out here. So,
Yeah.
Some of the convenience stores, some of the restaurants are kind of opening back up where, of course, you're skipping booths and mask on without eating or drinking. So it's a small community, so everybody's kind of staying safe. So.
Yeah, the county wasn't hit real hard. It was hit hard enough, and quite a few people got sick. So they've been, keeping in line with Governor Abbott, but I think they've kind of held their own in what they feel the community can deal with and handle. So, we're in a pretty good place out here, to be honest.
It's a big building, 7 stories, but 60,000 square foot, so.
Yeah,
Lots of room to spread out.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think is the average of most evenings when you have that?
What, our paranormal investigations?
The amount of people that come through
What, not the haunted?
The
So,
haunted house or the paranormal?
with a haunted house.
Honestly, I don't know the numbers. My wife does all that. I'm security, the tech, the lighting, the sound. I'm everything security, so she's the numbers woman. I help her keep up the website, get all that stuff going and everything. But yeah, I do everything else. And she's the people person, the numbers person. But we did really good last year, I think. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So you,
in a small community, people do come out from pretty far away to come to our haunted attraction.
so I can only imagine. So you're Mr. Honeydew and Jack of all trades, huh?
Yes, sir. I do my best.
He does a great job.
So I mean, with the bigger cities and the other haunted attractions around there, if they're hit hard, people are gonna start going to places that that are gonna be open.
Right, right.
In the rural areas. So I don't wish that ill on anybody, or any other companies and stuff, because there's some good haunted attractions out there in the Metroplex and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and stuff. But unfortunately, that kind of thing could happen. So
Yeah, just get a bed prepared for us when we get there.
yeah, it's up on the 6th floor.
So, and it's also my understanding y'all do a good job of accommodating those with disabilities as well, right?
yes, sir. We've even our security guys even carried some people, through the haunted house, so they're able to get through down the stairs in tight spots and everything. We do try to be compliant, but it's pretty cramped down there. So we're going to try to do some construction to try to re-energize for the handicap.
I mean, I know 1 or 2 people that came in that said that they went to others that advertised that they could go through in wheelchairs, and ours was the only one that they could get through. This was the only one that they were
Wow.
actually able to get through. So,
And if they weren't, then we carried them through.
yeah, right,
So,
we help push them,
Carry.
push them through. Right.
Okay.
I mean, and I know we've got even with our events, like I do believe we've got an individual that's blind coming in. So we are going to, we're working on making sure that this individual and his wife is going to have a great time here. I mean, we're not going to let that be a handicap. We're just going to do whatever we need to do to make sure that these folks have a fantastic time and that they get the feel for the building like we do,
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I definitely am gonna have to make a trip. So how much does it cost to go through there?
with the haunted attraction, I do believe it's $20, and I'm not sure what the special she's going to do this year. I know we did. I think it was $25, and if you purchased online or brought in a can of food, it was a $5 discount on it. So as far as the paranormal, that's not my area either.
The paranormal right now, we're doing 75 for a 5-hour. We do a 101 class, so we introduce everybody to the equipment. Obviously, the folks that are coming in that are already investigators are pretty much able to go and do their thing. And the new people, we take them with us. I mean, we do provide light snacks. And usually we'll do a couple of hours. We'll introduce them to the whole building, give them some of the history, so that they can at least maneuver their way around the building. And then, they'll get a good 3 hours. We've got plenty of equipment.
That they can sign out.
Yeah, there's nothing that I won't let somebody take out. I mean, the SLS, I'll stay with them because it's a big piece of equipment. But we will, the last time we had somebody ask if they could take the bear off of one floor and bring it to another room. And we said, yeah, go ahead, just, leave us keys or something. So I think for what we're doing, we've got a huge building. And I think we provide a great service for these folks. We do have people coming back more than once.
Multiple times, yeah.
So, I think that would be my goal is to see people's faces again. I think we did our job, especially somebody that never did it and then comes back all armed with their own equipment. It's fantastic.
Great.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think
bring your cameras.
I think it's a fantastic thing. to me, that was more than enough. It was well worth the time and the effort, the sweat. You know how it is. It's, we don't pull up. Unfortunately, we don't pull up in the Prevost bus, with the music rolling and the long trench coat on. I mean, we're in the trenches. We're setting up our cameras and putting our stuff out, and then hoping that we go and find something. So it's it's interesting, and I mean,
It's fun.
there's a story I like to tell. There was a couple that came last year, and she was saying, "Oh man, I can't wait to do this. I love watching it on TV." And the poor guy, they were mid-20s. He was being dragged, and you could see he was being dragged. All right. At the end of the night, I went over to him, and she kind of had this little sour look on her face. She goes, I think for me, the best place for paranormal is on my couch. All right. And I look over at the dude, and he gives a fist bump and goes, "This is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life." It was a complete flip. He loved the physical piece of it. And for her, it was, she wanted to watch it on TV. So it was just funny to see how they kind of flipped, but that they both had a great time.
Oh, that's an awesome story.
Yeah, it was good.
So back to Potter Paranormal. Y'all not only do buildings and stuff like that, but you also do people's homes. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had to kind of take a little break with the COVID stuff to protect ourselves and everybody else. But yeah, that's a pro bono. I mean, there's never
No charge for homes.
That's not what we're going there for. I mean, we're going there because if somebody's, had the courage, in a lot of instances, to reach out and really want to know what's going on, that's our service. We'll go in and do that service. And so those are some of the most intense investigations that I believe we've done.
Yes.
I know that I've done. I still have some stuff that, we were at one house up here in North Texas that was, we found 150 years of paranormal history on this piece of property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was new stuff in the house, and the woman who owned the house she's sees and hears things that other people don't. So I don't know if she would be considered a medium or not, but she's in tune, put it that way.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. We literally, I think we drilled down to Civil War time on the property. It taught me a lot that it's really, you can tear the building down. It doesn't mean that you can't get rid of the history. The land is there. It was a pretty horrific story, which is her story. It's not my story to tell. That created this situation, but it was, I just sat really for weeks thinking about it, looking at footage and saying, my God, where did this come from? It was pretty incredible stuff. So, we do enjoy doing home investigations also.
Yeah. I've said this a million times, but history is like my favorite part of doing investigations. I'm just obsessed with history.
Yeah.
So, how many people you said were in the group?
Well,
Four.
The core is 4 of us.
Just the 4 of you.
I watch everybody that comes through. There's a gal out in Tyler that I'm hoping will come back. There's something I would like, an investigative piece I'd like for her to do. And we use some of the volunteers who are showing a huge interest. Like I said, if somebody's never touched a piece of equipment and they're saying, teach me, I'm going to teach them. So, if we need 6 or 8, we've got people that we either call or ask to come with us. So we're not hurting in that respect. We will investigate with anybody. We welcome anybody to come investigate with us. We just love doing it. It's a good thing.
See, y'all are always busy. I can tell. You're never bored. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show, so I can see we got the phone number back there, 817-819-6773. And I'll repeat that for people that just hear this on audio. That's 817-819-6773. And the number for Potter Paranormal.
Is 860-933-2569.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. And then like social media, how do they get a hold of you?
Social media, potterparanormal.com, the Potter Paranormal page on Facebook. We do have an event coming up on April 15th, August 15th, April 15th.
Hey, are you taking me back in time, or are we going ahead?
We're not that good.
You can tell where my head's at. No, August 15th. So come on out. I mean, come out and have a good time with us. It's Texas summer. It's real good for investigating.
Let Shane do his
So
social media.
And with Texas Fairgrounds, you can also purchase tickets for the paranormal events at potterparanormal.com, texasscaregrounds.com. You can also see us on Facebook, Nazareth Event Center. What is the other one? I'll get it here in a second. We've got a lot of them on their Facebook.
Hey,
Texas Fairgrounds on Facebook.
okay.
Yep.
Do you have Instagram?
We do,
We
but that is
don't.
my wife's deal. Sorry, honey.
it's not listening, but
Yeah, we have Texas Fairgrounds Facebook page. I can't believe I don't know this.
Okay, we got them.
Hey, I know what it is. You got that Texas A&M hat. That's what is throwing you off.
I mean, it's like you saying that you got, with the sites and the different podcasts that you do, and it's yeah.
Hook 'em horns, baby.
I mean, sometimes it's difficult to keep track
Yeah.
now and then,
Yeah.
I have the same problem. I never can remember what my Twitter is because I hardly ever use it.
Yeah, we don't have.
Twitter.
We do have Twitter.
Oh,
It is. Come on.
I'm terrible with Twitter.
That one is Nazareth-Texas Fairgrounds on Twitter at Nazareth76067.
Okay.
Twitter.
Yeah, so there's a few places to get in touch with us.
If y'all would, if you could please send me the links to y'all's social media and the websites and everything, I would love to add that in my descriptions. And
Yeah. Thank
well,
you. We will.
I really, really appreciate y'all coming on the show. And I'm not done with y'all because I want to have you on another show that I do. And one more thing. I just got a question in from one of the people that are watching. They want to know if you use any message boards at all, like Ouija boards or anything along that line. No.
No, like I said earlier, I mean, I think that's more of a demonic portal. We've been doing a mirror portal and kind of checking that out and see where we're going with that. We kind of instituted that the last event that we had, and as a team, we're debating and talking about that. But other than that, yeah, we kind of stay away from that.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wanted to come in and do that on their own, would you allow them to do that, or are you just like, nope, nothing to do with that?
Yeah, I think at this point in time, I mean, that would probably be a no. I mean, and I think we're pretty tight on that one, including Shauna. Not to speak for her, but I mean, based on our
He can.
I mean,
Definitely no Ouija boards allowed.
Yeah, I mean, based on our conversations.
Based on.
Hey, I can respect that. But thank y'all once again for being on the show. Y'all are wonderful, and I wish the best for y'all. And I promise you, we are going to do our best to make it out that way. So,
Absolutely,
Thank you.
you're more than welcome to come out. More than welcome.
Fire up the barbecue pit. Well, everyone that's watching, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And catch us again next week, because I promise we'll have another great show. And y'all have a great evening.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Poor boy.
TKO would like to thank you for your support of this show and the network. Tune in next week for another informative episode.